Let's see. I'm up and running. Boom. Fantastic. So, Roman Hills PC is already in the chat. Love to see it. How you doing, my friend? Straight from the off, getting involved. So, got a few projects to do today. I need to be a bit quicker than my previous live streams because, you know, I'm not always the speediest when it comes to actually getting my job done. So let's do that. So we've got a PC to take apart. You probably get a little sneak peek there. This ITX PC here, we're going to take that apart because we've built it now. So we just need to take the parts out to repurpose for other builds. And then we've got a couple of other PCs to sort of finish off, add in bits that they wanted changing and things like that, getting Windows installed, just little bits and bobs. So we'll crack on with that, just get myself a little drink and we'll be good to go. And we're not messing around tonight. I'm obviously here to talk about all your PC questions that you've got or just to hang out. But I do need to get this work done, definitely. Okay. All right then, let's actually just get to work. I can't see how many viewers I've got at the moment. The YouTube studio, ow, just hit my knee. YouTube studio is having a bit of a moment, but I can see the chat window, so that's probably all that matters. So looking good. Right, let's get this case cracked open then, and then we can start the actual job that I came here to do. Okay. Set the tripod up properly. Look at this, pro level streaming. You thought you'd get away from the clap stream? Absolutely not. Okay. So this is an Antec Performance 1M case. We just finished doing a YouTube video with this one, which will be released, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks. Got a budget build coming on the channel this weekend. So let's take it apart. This case is awesome, by the way, Antec Performance 1M. So definitely want to be subscribed to see that build come up because it's gorgeous. We're going to have a little sneak peek now. So all the panels, they're completely toolless. You take the top off first, and you just pop the sides. I don't know if the front comes off, but it doesn't need to anyway, so we're all good. So this is our MSI 5080, the Inspire model. I love the look of this, it's great. The cooling was also really good as well. Didn't overheat at all. It's nice and slim as well, great for ITX builds. If you're considering a 5080, the Inspire is quite good. But this case has got a lot of space. Like you could easily get some 5090s in here without any issue. So pretty pleased with that actually. Obviously the difficulty with the ITX is that the cooling for the CPU is usually a bit compromised when you're using a tower cooler. So difficult one, but we're going to take this apart. Doesn't really matter which order we do it in, but seeing as we've got the camera pointed this way, why don't we just take this side out first. So I've cable tied down a lot of the cables, so I'm going to have to snip those off as I go. Okay, so just take out that 12 volt high power cable that everybody loves, not. God, I hate this cable so much, dude. In ITX, it's like the only place where I actually see the benefit of it, having one cable. Otherwise, I don't know what was wrong with 8 pins, to be honest. Hey, what are you going to do? Benefits and drawbacks, as always. Roman says, picked up the PC Cooler i100 Pro Mesh. It's my first time using it. It's for a budget build. I think I've seen that one, actually, Roman. It's quite a nice looking case. I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, you get them on AliExpress normally. Yeah, I think I've seen the one you're talking about, and it does look nice. I've never used it. I used the the earlier version of the PC Cooler i100, like a cheaper white, tiny white case. It was very similar to the Fractal Terror in size, but it did have acrylic side panels, which was annoying because I tried to clean them with a microfiber cloth once and it scratched them up really bad. So I'm not a big fan of the acrylic aspect, but yeah, what are you going to do? All right, so we'll just take the screws out for the GPU. One of the only downsides with this particular case was that the riser piece is really tight to get this graphics card in, so it took me ages to actually get it in the slot. Hopefully it'll come out nice and easy there. I'll just release the latch. See, it's even a bit stiff trying to get this out of the riser piece. Oh, there we go. Actually, not stiff at all. So that's the MSI Inspire 5080. Pretty nice card, fits really nicely inside ITX builds like this, so really cool. We've got Philo in the chat. Yes, he's here for the flirting. That's what Philo enjoys about the streams, and it's great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Right, so we're just taking apart this ITX build. Then we got I think we've got one more to take apart, and then we've got one to modify and finish for our customer. So looking forward to that. So we'll just whip out the extension cable for the PSU. So this is a Cooler Master V850. Pretty nice power supply, good price. The only problem is it comes with a 90-degree 12-volt high power adapter, which is really stupid because not all graphics cards have them pointed the same way. So I actually had to take the plastic casing off the cable to take the right angle off it. I don't know what they were thinking when they made this power supply. It's crazy. Okie dokie. There you go. Power supply is loose. Hope everyone's having a nice midweek. So that's the power supply out. I mean, this is how easy this computer is to build, guys. It's like, this is one of the easiest ITX builds ever. It's just this is one of the quickest ITX builds I've ever done. It took me like an hour. But usually ITX takes me a good hour and a half, 2 hours to do. Okay. Oh God. Stiff modular cables. Ugh. Beautiful. The teeny tiny 850 watt of the power display. Okay, so that's out. That's the 12-volt high power cable. So this bit of it had like a plastic housing on it that forced it to be basically like that. So it wasn't actually like a 90-degree plug itself, it just had a clip over it that turned this one 90 degrees. Terrible, terrible idea. I had to take it off myself. I don't know what Cooler Master were thinking. Otherwise, great value power supply. So I'll let them off. So next we need to take out the motherboard assembly. So let's do that next. All right then. Just the 4 screws, rightx, that's nice. We've got RTX benchmarks in the chat. Let's have it. How you doing, my friend? Wednesday, middle of the week. Hope things are going well for you. I've not been very productive this week, so I'm hoping this live stream will kick things off for me getting into more of a groove. I've got loads of customer orders that have come in. One of them was £4,300 custom build. Crazy. RTX 5090 build. Okay, so that should all just lift out now. Oh no, to take the riser piece out, don't I? So I'll clip that off. Okay, riser piece is out, so take that out. Need to take off the USB-C and the front panel plug. There we go. And we'll also take out the case fan header. Plug there. There we go. We're all good to go. Yeah, I do. I recognise the picture RTX here. This is, I prefer ATX. Yeah, well, this is ITX. Then we've got an MATX to take apart. And then we've got a full ATX to finish off. So you've got the full gamut today on the stream, I tell you. So this one is actually done. So that's pretty good. How long have we been live? Probably about 10 minutes. Got one of my jobs done already. It's a new leaf, guys. So in the bottom here, I've got a couple of Fractal Aspect 14s. These are the fans that you get with the Fractal Ridge, Fractal North, things like that, spare. I put these grills on them to stop the cables hanging down and going into the blades. It works really nicely. I quite like that this Antec Performance 1 MK, so you can put two decent fans in the bottom as well. It's good for cooling. It's definitely better than the Fractal Terra. I'm having those down there. I don't have any use for those in any other system, so I'll just leave them as is there. Save me a job when I come to rebuild this, when somebody orders one. Cool. Right, so let's just get the panels back on and then we can move on. I will put the screws back in for the graphics card so we can get to it later. I mean, I'm glad to see that you've changed from GTX benchmarks to RTX, because like you're painting yourself in a corner there, just having a channel just for GTX 1650. Especially as I don't know how many people have those anymore. There's no room in the top for this fans on this one, unfortunately, Roman. Just in the bottom. I was looking to see if there was a possibility to get an AIO down there, but it won't happen. Even with slim fans, it's not going to be enough space. Because you could get like a liquid cooler with a decoupled pump, and then you wouldn't get that air collection problem. We got 7 Max. Yeah, it's the 1M. So we were checking it out last time on the stream. I've just taken apart the build that was inside it because we need to repurpose the parts to use for other builds and photography and things like that for the website. So yeah, so we're actually just going to wrap this one up. I was just saying how efficient I've been. Usually it takes me about an hour just to do like a basic job when I live stream it, but it's turned out well. This case is very minimalist, right? It's really cool because it's only got like 2 cables for the front panel, USB-C, and then a front panel uni plug. It makes things really simple. I like that, especially in ITX. You don't want to be managing a load of cables in an ITX build. I'll slap that back on. Such a nice case, this, man. I'm actually considering stealing it for myself. Just such high quality materials. Is it that way around? No, it's the other way around. It's got the sliding spine thing as well that the Fractal Terra has. It's pretty nice. All right. Job 1 is job done. Look at that, beautiful wiring. Okay. So we will rebox that. Where's the box? Where have I put it? Oh, there's fireworks going off all over the place at the moment. Must be Guy Bloody Fawkes Day. Okay, so let's make a bit of space. pro streamer setup. Love this. Yeah, the fireworks have been going on for days here. I don't really get it. I thought it was just once a year, the fireworks thing. I don't know. Maybe it's like Black Friday where everybody's trying to get their fireworks in earlier than everyone else. And eventually it's just not Black Friday anymore. Look at this nice like canvas bag that Antec give you for this case, man. I do like it. I kind of enjoy the more sustainable materials aspect of PC cases and PC gear nowadays. Because the amount of foam and plastic in a lot of these things and that can't really be recycled is pretty grim. I noticed a lot of like SSDs and other things are coming just in cardboard packaging, which is great. Okay. I need to keep up this pace for the rest of the stream to get through everything. We've got 6 in the chat. Love to see it. Love to see it. What's everybody's opinion on Guy Fawkes and fireworks night and things? Just an excuse to sell fireworks, right? It's not actually a real holiday, I don't think. Okay. Perfetto. Buona badici. Right, that's one job jobbed. Move on to the next. To get rid of this box. Ugh. Right, straw poll in the chat now. Do we finish, so we'll finish off a customer build, so it's more like building a PC, or do we disassemble another PC? Get out of the way. I don't really care about the fireworks, it doesn't bother me, I just never really sort of understood it. Like once you've seen one set of fireworks, I don't have any whimsy or wonder left for fireworks. They all just seem the same to me. So I'm very indifferent. Oh God, yeah. That's the other thing. The pets don't like the fireworks a lot of the time, do they? All right, so are we building a PC next, or are we going to disassemble another one? What do you think? That's our motherboard assembly, so we'll take that apart over here. I say finish the PC. All right, deal. Let's do it. We'll get the... So the next one is the Vida Elegance PC, because I did a YouTube video on it last week. Did all right. 1,500 views, not too bad. But the purpose of doing the videos is because I would be building it anyway to photograph and everything for the website. So I'd put it into a YouTube video at the same time. And then I often disassemble a lot of it. God, this is a stiff cable, Jesus. I disassemble them and then put the parts away, because otherwise I have to have loads of full PC builds lying around, and it's bad for cash flow, basically. I've made that mistake before. So I tend to just repurpose parts and then list them as built to order things. All right, so that's the motherboard from the previous one. I think we'll just leave this as it is for now. I can always take it apart later if needed. But really, every video that I do with this, the process is going to be the same. I'm going to be using the same DDR5 low profile RAM, the same Thermalright cooler. So I don't really see the point in changing it. So we'll leave it for now. Put it aside, and then we'll get on with building the next one. I need to update the little text thing now, don't I? Building customer PC. Oops. There we go. Oh, it changes on both. Perfect. It does say incel. Incel inside, baby. I'm gonna have to start selling these. It's like synonymous with the stream now. This is like, people come to expect this kind of behavior. Right, I'll just put some of these screws away and then we'll be on with the next build. Inside. What an advert that is. Iconic. I'm off screen, but I am getting the next PC ready. I promise. It's just that it's so massive that I won't be able to fit it in frame anyway. Studies show that if you make like a grunting noise before you pick up something heavy, it hurts your lower back by 20% less. And I just made that up. Okay. Oh, I've got 8 viewers now. Beautiful. If you've got anybody new to the stream, obviously we're doing a few jobs for my company at the moment, but if you want to ask any PC questions, like you're thinking about doing an upgrade, then yeah, let me know. We can help with that. Your least, I was gonna say, I thought you said your favorite bit of building a PC is the cable management. I was like, that's the grossest bit. Satisfying, I guess. What's the least favorite specific? I think probably plugging in 5-volt ARGB cables. Whoever designed that needs a real talking to. Need their head looking at. Who thought that 3 teeny weeny pins with a gap in between would be a good idea for RGB connector? Honestly. Okay, so this is the Vida Elegance case, sort of a UK exclusive, I think, actually, but you can usually get similar things from Okeanos if you're in the US or other places. A lot of it is already built because I usually take these apart, but the customer ordered one really quickly after me putting the YouTube video out. So a lot of it is actually good to go. All I need to do is, I think, put an SSD in, I think, and then put the 9060 XT in, and then change the power supply to a 750 watt. I think that is actually everything for this one, which is handy. Okie dokie. I can see there's an SSD behind there already. I just need to get my phone, just check the customer order. They might have wanted to change it, so let's have a look. Right, so this one was this one. Maybe it's, yeah, so it's a higher end SSD that they wanted, so let's do it. Does it look better? I don't know. I don't think we can get Okeanos here. That seems to be quite a popular budget option. Yeah, it is nice. You get the full experience if you watch the video, obviously. A bit more of a showcase, but yeah, it's good. Okay, I think this one could be quite popular because it's only like 55, 60 pounds this case. So hard to complain at that kind of price level, isn't it? So just put in an M2 SSD. I'll zoom it in a second. A bit more of a view of what we're doing. Okay. Whoa. Mind me while I change my tripod height. Listen, this isn't a professional stream, all right? So if your expectations are all the way up there, I've got a bridge to sell you, mate. Okay. There we go. Why isn't it focusing? Let's do that. Okay. So SSD here is a 990 Evo Plus. So this, in my lineup, I call this a mid-range SSD because it doesn't have the top end speed, and it has HMB, but it doesn't have DRAM. So I never give customers a really cheap crap SSD. It just isn't worth it. Like the slowdown and user experience is so poor if you don't have a memory buffered SSD. Like this wasn't very expensive. This this Samsung 990 it was fine. It was like, I think I got this on a good deal, like 60 quid or something. 1 terabyte HMB, decent speed. This is great for a gaming PC, but I do give the customers the option of upgrading to like a higher end SSD with DRAM on board. So we're going to put in the MSI M480 Pro in just a second. So RTX 100 says, seeing as you've got a lot of computer experience, have you ever slipped a screwdriver into the board and killed it or damaged anything? I mean, I've slipped into the board a couple of times, but it's never damaged anything. So no, it's fine. You'd have to be pushing really hard for it to do that. I think you'll be fine. Okay, so just go and get the new SSD wherever that is. Aha. So premium SSD, this would be an example of one. So this is M480 Pro PCIe 4 with a DRAM cache and good speeds. You see 7,400 to 6,000 is decent speeds. It's not the top. The write speeds can sometimes be faster on something else, but it doesn't matter. For a gaming PC, it does not matter. So we'll just unpackage that and put it in. You might be wondering why I'm using the lower slots and not the higher one. Well, one reason is that sometimes the top slots are PCIe 5, so you might want to leave that free if somebody gets a faster SSD. But also, these slots here are going to be behind the graphics card. So if I put it here, it means that if the customer wants to add one of their own in the future, they could just put it in here without having to take the graphics card out and all that other things. Just those little things that I like to do to try and keep the user experience good, basically. Otherwise, you end up having to take out, you know, a whole graphics card just to change your SSD, which is a bit unfortunate. Alrighty, so M480 Pro can go in there. I'll just screw that in place. A 1 terabyte Spatium. Come in a bit closer for better focus. Cool. Then we just need to put the heatsink back on. So this is the Gigabyte B650 Gaming X AX. It's actually a pretty good motherboard for the money, £135 in the UK. That includes tax for all you Americans. And it's got everything you need. 8-phase VRM, heatsink SSDs, slots. Looks alright-ish, doesn't look awful, doesn't look amazing, just does everything you need. 8-phase VRM's perfect, even for, you'd even get away with this on a Ryzen 9. So you're going to be absolutely fine for any upgrades. The whole idea of this platform really was to make it really upgradable. So hopefully we've achieved that. Okay, so that ARGB cable hit, that was from our other Nitro Plus Sapphire card, so I need to take that out in a minute. Actually, yeah, I have to find where that goes in a minute. That might be that one actually, at the top. We'll find out, we'll find out. Okay, so let's swap the power supply next. That's the next thing we've got to do, because the customer wanted a 750 watt instead of a 650 watt, which I think is perfectly reasonable. I'll just need to see if there's anything else that I need to note for the order. So we've got the 3-fan liquid cooler, yes. We've got the premium SSD, yes. And then we just need to see if he added anything else. So I'm just looking on my Shopify dashboard, which is hella boring for you, but it's only take a sec. Okay, yeah, 9060 XT, 360mm PSU. So I actually gave him the PSU upgrade free of charge because he chose some other upgrades as well. So normally I'd charge like another tenner or something, but I was feeling generous at the time. What can I say? So maybe let's weasel out the CPU power cable first. The others have got cable extensions on them actually, so that does make things a little bit easier. Okay, so this is going to be a real bugger to get this out, honestly. I can tell already this is going to be a faff and a half. I might actually have to take the radiator out. I really don't want to, but I might have to. I really don't want to have to take the liquid cooler out. It's going to add far too much time to everything if I do that. Hoping if I could just get the latch loosened, I can wiggle it. I hate changing power supplies. I hate it. That's why I put 750 watts in most of my builds, because then people are less likely to want to upgrade it. What do we think, chat? Are we in trouble here? I could see a cable tie in there. I wonder if I could just sneak my scissors in there and just snip without a snippet. No, I can't fit it through. All right then, back panel's coming off then. Okay. So this is our cable management on this one. I think we've done an all right job. I think that looks as neat as it needs to look, right? I don't think you need to go overboard. Okay. Let's give that one a little snippy. Yeah, let's hope I can get this out. I might be able to do it from this side if I give it a little push. Ugh. All right, well, we'll just undo some more of these cables here, give us a bit more room to play with. Yeah. I'm sure everything will be fine, Philo. I'm sure everything. Right, I'll push this nubbin back through. Come on, baby. You can do it. Me, I've been building PCs for about 6 years now, I think. So a long time. I got in, yeah, probably about 6 years. I've built computers before that, but properly building them for a good 5-6 years. It's not happening. I'm gonna have to take that. Oh, that's really annoying. Oh. Come on, just give me this. Yes. Oh. Yes, it's out. Oh yes, that feels really good. Beautiful. Oh, that is a relief. Okay. Now take out that extension piece there. Okay. Oh, we're motoring now, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely a dopamine spike. I need to lie down after that. Okay. Where's my electric screwdriver? Oh, I don't know. Let's use this one. Okay, dokie. So, who in the chat has seen the news about the AMD driver debacle this past week? I found it really funny. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we can go over that. Classic. It's just classic AMD, honestly, classic. 3 years is a good amount of time, Roman. You'll learn a lot. You learn most of the stuff in your first couple of years, really. But I find really the actual assembly of the PC, there are some tricks you can, pick up on the way. But the real skill with the PC building is sort of knowing what the customer wants. Like, so if they say, I want to play this game, this game, and this game, it's like, do you have that knowledge to know which component's going to give them that experience? And that's where the years of PC building is important. In terms of like hobby building your own, it's not majorly technical, really. That's my opinion, anyway. Okay, so we've got a nice clear basement there. We'll put that in. Yeah. Oh shit! Hang on, I just unplugged my camera, and I shouldn't swear on a live stream either. It's bad form. I've got like capture cards from both of these cameras, so. So, this AMD thing, man, why do they always do this? Like, just when they're like on the up, they find a way to mess it up completely. Like with the NVIDIA 30 series, you can never get any stock. But then AMD wouldn't drop their prices. They didn't have anything good to offer. I was like, guys, this is like your open net to like score finally in the graphics market. And then this time, with the driver thing, what were they thinking? Some of those graphics cards are like 3 or 4 years old. You can even buy RX 6600s now, new. I just thought, what the hell are they doing? It really knocks like consumer trust in the product if you don't know how long it's going to be supported for. Because people do keep their graphics cards for a long time, and then they want to sell them on the used market, and it all has a knock-on effect. Crazy. I think there just needs to be an industry standard, doesn't there, for like how long are we going to support our graphics cards? Really, I think 10 years is reasonable. Maybe even longer. I don't know, because these, especially now with the pricing, right? You might not worry so much when you get a good deal back in the day, but now with the graphics cards being so damn expensive, that's a bit of a dick move, isn't it? Okay, so this is one of my favorite power supplies, if not my favorite power supply. Deepcool PL750D. I'll just knock it all about. 80 plus bronze, which is fine. Cybernetic silver. But the great thing about this one, I get these for £50 a pop. It comes with 750 watts of power, and it has the 12 volt high power native cable included. So it makes it so easy to build any PC with it. I think this is cracking. You know, anything up to an RTX 5070 Ti, this will do absolutely beautifully. Maybe 5080, you're going to want to go up to an 850 watt, but this is like one of my bread and butter go-to power supplies. You can't get them in the US anymore, but for those of us that still get deep cool, so good, man. Rock solid as well. Never had one fail ever, and I use this more than others. Corsair, I've had a lot of Corsair power supplies fail. I mean, a lot compared to other brands, not a lot in absolute number. So yeah. And do you know what? This is a non-modular power supply, fully wired. I don't get the hate. I quite like a non-modular power supply. Like, especially as a business owner, selling these to customers, like, you don't have to deal with any like, oh, which cables go where, or if I want to upgrade, how do I plug the new cables in? I threw away the old cables, how do I get new cables? This just done, you know? And there is a bit of cable bulk there, but in a standard ATX case, you should have plenty of room to stuff this away. So I'm all about the fully wired power supply personally in an ATX build. Obviously, smaller builds, the modular is needed really to make it make sense. But yeah. Okay, let's have a quick drink. What controversy? What bay? What? Oh, you talk about the Pirate Bay. The Pirate Bay is not. It's not controversial. That's mainstream now. Okay, just finish this drink. All right. So obviously, guys, you guys will know, but fan side should be down in most cases. As long as you've got a perforated basement in the case, then face down is better. Sometimes you might want to put it face up with the fan up like this. If you're going to leave this PC on carpet or in a dusty environment, you might actually want to put it with the fan side facing up because you know you're not going to get all the dust from the floor being sucked in. But for most people, fan side down is the way to go. If you're going to do it fan side up, you have to have perforations in the top part of your power supply shroud. This one does. So you could do this either way. I'm going to do it face down like this because it's just a standard build. So don't rock the boat. But there are reasons that you could do it with the fan facing up if you really needed to. So we'll slide that in. Beautiful. So question for the chat. Question for the chat. What do you think about these shift power supplies? I have my opinion on it. I want to know yours first. So you know the ones where the cables will come like out the side like this way rather than straight out the back. What do you guys think about this? So there's the Lian Li shift, I think, isn't there? Or the Lian Li, whatever it's called. And then there's the Corsair RM shift, isn't there, that does the same sort of thing. I've never actually used one, which might tell you my opinion on them. But yeah, I don't know. So RTX says, watching other people build computers is therapeutic till it's actually you. I mean, I still find it therapeutic. The failure rate on components is really low now. Like, I don't have many times where stuff is broken. Do you know what the most common thing that I've ever had break is? I'm going to address the camera now. One of the worst things you can buy for your PC, and I strongly recommend you do not buy this item, is the Lian Li Strimer cables. I've used the Strimer cables 6, maybe 7 times out of about 850 PC builds that I've done. And consistently, it is one of the most prone to breaking computer parts that I've ever used. Absolutely crazy. I think 4 out of 6 of them, at least 4, maybe even 5, maybe 4 or 5 out of 6 of these Lian Li Strimer cables have broken. And I've had customers telling me, oh, my graphics card's broken, this, and this. And I said, listen, let's just do the cheap thing first, see if we can fix that. Get them to put the stock cable back in. Graphics card works perfectly. I've had this happen several times. It only really happens on the graphics card though. It doesn't really happen on the 24-pin cable. So I don't know what the reason is for that. But yeah, so I wouldn't recommend the Strimer cables. What you can get instead are these Corsair RGB cable clips, which will do a similar job. They just clip over your stock cables, so there's no risk of a dodgy cable. So up to you. I'll be using those in an upcoming build, but that will be a while off being on the channel just yet. Okay, so we've got a little melange of cables here to manage. So we have, do we have 1 or 2 CPU cables with this power supply? It doesn't really matter. Oh, there's 2, so we could use those. Okay. So my thinking is that realistically, you're only ever going to need 1 of these 8-pin plugs for your CPU. Even on a Ryzen 9, you're unlikely to saturate more than this. But if you've got the 2, you might as well just put them in because of load sharing. But if you just leave some of them blank, it's no big deal. It's honestly no big deal. Well, RTX, if that's the way you go, mate, you're going to be much safer because some cable extensions are dodgy, especially those Strimers. I see them in builds online all the time and I go, dude, I would not be using those Strimer cables, I tell you, they are dreadful. Usually Lian Li makes good stuff, but those are just something else. Like customers sometimes ask me about them and I say, I'm afraid I can't. I just can't. Because what will happen is in 3 to 6 months, you'll think your graphics card is broken. So one thing you can do with power supply cables is you can actually peel them apart like this. So that's going to make managing it a little bit easier. It doesn't damage the cable. The reason is we've got the 8-pin there and then we've got the 4-pin there because this has an 8 and a 4. So rather than route the whole thing up there, we can just peel it apart and then you're sorted. So feed those cables up through. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Philo. I'm more in that camp these days. I used to, care a bit more about the RGB and everything. Now I just want something that's a bit just clean, ideally on the smaller side. And I don't want any RGB in my PC if I can help it. I actually strap my PC under my desk anyway, so I can't see it. So the looks are irrelevant in my current setup. But that's the thing about custom PCs, right? So it's you make it how you like it. That's why it's so enjoyable, isn't it? Okay. What's the cheapest PC I've ever built? Might be. Oh, the cheapest one I've built in a long time is the one that's going to be on the channel this Friday afternoon. I think it was £479, all new parts. And it had like a Radeon 7600 and a Ryzen 5500. That's the cheapest I've done in a long time. The actual cheapest I've done is probably a trade-in. So I don't want to bore you too much with the details, but basically in the UK you have to pay something called VAT, value added tax. So essentially every time I sell something, I have to pay not only the corporation tax, which is the standard tax, I also have to pay 20% VAT. But that's fine if if you buy stuff from Amazon or Scan or a distributor, you claim back the VAT. So it means that basically you only pay VAT on your profits when you equate it all together. The difficulty is when you buy something used, that you're usually buying it from a person, so you're not going to be able to claim that VAT back. So when I offer a trade-in for a customer, I'm very honest with them. I say you can get more money by selling this yourself because of the VAT. So sometimes I've scored, really good PCs for very cheap. So I'm doing a trade-in on one PC which has got a Ryzen 5600, 240mm AIO, 32 gigs RAM, and an RTX 3070, and I'm paying $399 for it, which is a pretty good price. But you've got to remember, I've got to add the VAT on top and everything like that. So yeah, but that's one of the best scores I've had recently. I will need to recase that PC though, because the case is a bit bashed up. But yeah. Well, yeah. So like I said, new build completely, 479 I think is what I've just built with now. I tend not to go for the real super budget stuff. Couple of reasons. Like one cynical reason and one actual reason. The one actual reason is that if I'm going to sell somebody a PC, particularly with my brand, if you go on my website, it's more of a premium feeling. It's not like giving you bargain basement prices. That's not what I'm about. So me offering a super cheap PC, it doesn't fit with my brand. And honestly, you're not going to get a very good experience. I want everyone that buys a PC from me to go, wow, this PC is fantastic. This is definitely an upgrade from my Xbox and my PlayStation. I'm so glad I got this. I don't want them to get the PC and then go, oh, do you know what, actually, it's not really any better than my PlayStation. So that's why I don't go for the super cheap builds. I would say those super cheap builds, leave those to the used PC flippers, personally. That's the way I look at it. And people do get scammed. They buy really cheap stuff, and it's just the other part of it, the cynical part of it, is that it's so weird. This thing's so weird. This psychology thing in sales is so weird. So the people that buy the really budget PCs and the people that buy the super high-end PCs, so say somebody spends £500 on a PC, next person spends £5,000 on a PC. Their expectations, both of them, are very, very high. They get very neurotic about everything in the system. They're always querying, questioning, monitoring temperatures, everything like that. So those two customers, I do understand why they do that, but it's much more work for me. Whereas the customers that are in the middle, in that sort of £800 to £1,600, maybe £2,000, in that middle bracket, those customers love it because they know they've got a good product. They're just playing their games. They're not worried about monitoring everything. They're not thinking about the money as much. So they're much more enjoyable to sell to. But, I get it. Some people want the high end and they want to know that everything's running tickety-boo. Some people don't have as much money, so they want to try and extract as much as possible. I get it. I'm just saying from my point of view. So the cheapest build on my site. So with the build to order ones, I think 650 is the cheapest I do. Sometimes though, like for the YouTube builds, if I can't repurpose the parts, I'll sell them as a build on the website at cost price. So sometimes you'll get them a bit cheaper that way. So basically I'll build it for the YouTube channel, and then if I can't repurpose the parts, then I would sell it at cost price just once only to recoup that. And then sometimes I have like older models and old stock that I'm getting rid of. So yeah, difficult to formalize. I think I've got like a £550 one there with a RTX 3060, but those are old stock. Once they're gone, they're gone. So among the new stock, 650. I don't advise anyone get a PC cheaper than 650 if they're going for the new market, personally. It sounds a bit snobbish, but I think you're better off just saving up that money and getting the proper experience. I don't really like selling my PCs at cost, but sometimes it just helps move the stock along. There's one thing I've learned: you do not want to hold on to stock for a long time, because you will lose a lot of money if you overbuy on stock. Okay, so let's just feed these cables back in, get on with some more PC building. So we fed our CPU cables through. We're just doing a bit of a stuff job down here, just like I did with your mum last night. So 24 pin, and we'll need a SATA for the RGB hub. And that's a PCIe, so we'll need that for the graphics. The others can be stowed away. I'm just trying to get this. PCIe. So only one of these. Few, so Romans has got few at cost price. Yeah, I mean sometimes you have to do it. I mean a lot of the really anything under 600 on my site, I'm probably making a loss on it, and I'm just trying to get rid of the stock. I've got the last few of my old stock to get rid of at the moment. The longer you leave it, the less people want it, and the lower you have to make the price. So I would strongly recommend against holding a lot of stock. Jack1678 says, I got 7 old laptops from friends, none of them entirely work. I have no clue what to do with them. Harvest the parts, you know, the memory, the storage. Depends in what way they're not working, really, doesn't it? If they're blue screening, that'll probably be RAM. That'll almost certainly be RAM. Otherwise, I don't know, really. If it's problems with the charging port, you're asking the wrong guy. Because that's soldering job, isn't it? Whilst I probably could solder on a power connector, it's not something I do routinely, so I don't want to give advice at something I'm not really that competent in myself. Okay, so connecting up these cables. Now we do have to get rid of that ARGB plug from the old graphics card before I forget, so let's get that. Oh, most of hardware issues, yeah, well, that sucks. Unless it's RAM, you're going to be in a difficult way. And even with RAM, sometimes they're soldered, aren't they? So, difficult one. Okay, so where's this cable going? Okay, so that's going in. You just have to take them to a recycling centre, those laptops then, I think. Sometimes they can harvest the materials from them and use them for something else, can't they? Oh, it's annoying I have to undo this cable management now, man. Okay, there it is, that's out. eBay 7 untested. Yeah, that sounds good, man. I agree. Just put them on as untested, no returns, spares repair. Then you've just offloaded all your responsibility onto the buyer. I agree with that, actually. I endorse that advice. Okay. We're gonna need some more cable ties. Roman knows the score. I agree. They're just they're very proprietary, aren't they? Which I understand because they're small, but yeah, not ideal. You just have, it's one of the things you just got to accept it, really. Most laptops are gonna be crap because they are proprietary. We're just finishing up this customer build. If anyone's new to the chat, we'll be putting in the 9060 XT 16GB in a minute. It's a lot easier to do the first time round than changing the power supply over. Okay. The problem I have with these cable management eyelets is that It's so easy to get them like in the wrong way, isn't it? Okay. This is my first time I dismantled a computer, my personal one, and I kind of didn't know about thermal paste at the time. Ah, funny. Yeah. That was actually one of the things that put me off building a computer for the first time. Was that I don't know how to use thermal paste. Is it conductive? Am I going to mess things up? Actually, it's a lot more innocuous than it seems, isn't it? But yeah, I know that anxiety. Been there, mate. Been there. Okay, so tidy up these. We'll have to plug those CPU cables in before we tidy them, actually, won't we? And GPU for the laptop got. Oh no, she didn't put the. You didn't put the paste back on the GPU. Oh, bad times, my friend. Bad times. All right. CPU power cable can go back in now. You're not going to be able to see this. This is one of the notoriously one of the most difficult parts of a PC build to film. Is plugging in the CPU power cable. And also plugging in the front panel mini pips as well. So here's a little tip that will help you out in future. So you probably see that on screen. So this is the CPU power cable. I've peeled half of it off. The side, so say you've got a setup like this where you've got the 4-pin there and you've got a 4+4, so you've got an 8 there, and you've got a 4-pin smaller one next to it. The bit of the power supply cable you want is the one with the 2 square blocks and then the 2 domed blocks. The other half of this plug, they're all domed blocks, so they won't fit. So you always want the one that's square, square, dome, dome, like that. That's one of my little tips. And then, so I'll just put this last one back in. Ugh. Damn fiddly, isn't it? Go on. There we go, got it. The other good thing about this Deepcool PL750 is that it's got flat cables. I love flat cables, much better than the round ones that you get with other power supplies. Because like, for instance, this cable, the CPU power cable, having them flat cables is so much easier, man. It's so much easier to get it to fit under coolers and all that stuff. All right, so let's just do the cable management on the CPU power cable, then we can get our graphics card plugged in after that. So I'm just getting so another little tip that I do with the cable ties, to get them to hook round better, if you sort of fold the end of them and crimp it like this and almost make like a hook, you can get it in the eyelet and out the other side much easier. So like that. If you put this in like a normal one, just straight, you can end up just like putting it through the back of it and everything like that. So. Oh, this is just it's an ARGB fan hub that came with the case. So it does the fan speed and the RGB as well. Yeah, this one, it just came with the case. This one, it's quite good. It just uses standard ARGB, so I'm on board with that. So then we just take our cable tie, put it through. So see that's hooked through first time now. That's so much easier. Brian Gaming says, I got an i5 12400F used for £60. Dude, great deal. I love that. It's probably about the right price. I wouldn't say you haven't got a major bargain, but good CPU for the money, man. And you could probably get the appropriate like B series motherboard pretty good price as well. So yeah, not a bad pickup. It's about the same speed as a Ryzen 5600, isn't it? I think the 12400F. That's how I think of it. I've used the 1200F a lot. I think it was decent. It's functionally no different from the Ryzen 5600. So whichever one you get, you can have a great time. Okay, so cable management is nearly done. So yeah, there's one more tie down point there, so we can do that one. Well, that's the thing, Brian. All RAM is expensive. You are in a tough spot for RAM. The benefit of the DDR4 is that it'd be easier for you to find a used kit of DDR4, and it will definitely be cheaper. But if you get a good kit of RAM DDR5, you'll be able to carry it forward to your next PC. That's going to be the trade-off. Personally, I'd just get the DDR4. Unless you're planning to get like a 14900K in future or something, in which case you might want to get a DDR5. But I think there's benefits and drawbacks either way, so I don't think anyone could criticize you whichever way you go with it. I don't think you're going to get any extra performance from DDR5 with the 12400F, but you get that ability to reuse it in future builds. So up to you. Okay, so cable management is done. People want to give me a grade. Like, what do we think about this cable management? I think that's decent. I give myself a B+. I never try and make it super tight because, I mean, honestly, what's the point if you're going to put a load of steel over it? And also, if you tie this down to every single point in the case, it's going to be really hard for you to service it in future. And upgrade and things like that. So personally, this is ideal, I think. Just sort of neatly arranged-ish in a way that you can access it in future. So I think that's decent. All right, let's get the graphics card then. So we've got 9060 XT 16GB. Got these at an all right price, probably about the RRP. So not a bargain by any means, but good enough. All right, let's get it out. Where is it? So it is the cheapest one I could find. Power Color Reaper. It does have a backplate though. So one of the things that, my thing is law of the cheapest model, right? So always buy the cheapest version of any graphics chipset, except for the 90 series, in which case you might want to get a better one if you want to overclock. Everything else, you're much better off just getting the cheapest version. If you're talking about performance. If you're thinking about aesthetics, that's a different concern. But for performance, you won't be getting anything from a fancy 9060 XT 16GB that you wouldn't get from this one. So just save the money. I think it looks all right. One of my things is it does have to have a backplate. I'm not anymore. No longer will I sell a PC with a graphics card that doesn't have a backplate. I don't want an exposed circuit board here. It just looks unprofessional. So let's peel off the plastic. Oh yeah, beautiful. Never gets old. And then PCIe slot cover. And the little pips. I always take all of these out, don't leave them in. Just take them all out. And then I think we've got some more plastic on the shroud, so let's take that off. So any graphics chipset, just get the cheapest one. especially even with like 5080s. I've used Palette Gaming Pros, which is like the cheapest 5080 I can get in the UK, £950, and it performs just as well as like Asus TUF and all the others. So yeah, so it's good. Nice little card. You don't need a lot of fancy cooling stuff for a 9060 XT. It's going to be absolutely fine. We have Tanmay in the chat. Welcome back, Tanmay. Nice to see you joining us after last stream as well. Hopefully you've had a good week. So we'll rebox that. Okay. So we'll put that in. Let's zoom it in a little bit so you can see it a bit better on your tiny mobile phone screens. Okay. So just slot that in, line up the PCIEs, and then, oh, that wasn't very satisfying. Usually it makes a nice clunk. Woozy can't say, my 5090 choice was decided by the water block choice. Fair enough. So, you know, if you're buying a 5090, that's kind of like the one time I would say you can be a bit more discerning about the model that you get, because if you've already got the best, then you might want to get one that's going to overclock. And particularly with water cooling, custom water cooling, you will want to look into what the VRM is like on it as well, because you're going to get more out of it. It is the Reaper, that's correct. Power Color Reaper, 9060 XT 16GB. No point getting fancy versions of any graphics card apart from the 5090 really, and even then, only if you're overclocking. And even then, some of the cheaper models are still pretty good. But I'm just trying to sort of manipulate this cable a bit to make it look a bit nicer, and then this build will be finished. Perhaps I should get, you know, I don't have any on me at the moment, but those 90-degree adapters could look quite nice, couldn't they? Yeah, so if I shift the cable there, I don't know why it's like waving in the middle. I don't want that. I want it to be straight. To be honest, it's probably not going to matter because I'm going to be putting the Instapack in it anyway. I'm just wondering why it's shimmying off to that side all of a sudden. I just pull it a bit taut. Yeah, that'll fix it. There we go. That's better. Okay, fine. Cool. I do like the 9060 XT 16GB. I'm a big fan. You actually get really solid 1440p performance at a somewhat reasonable price. Oh my god, I am a fool. Look. Oh my gosh. That's why I didn't make a nice satisfying click, boys. See, this is what you don't see in YouTube videos, guys. It's all the tiny mistakes that people make. I've built I think I've done 850 something. I have to look up the actual number. 850 something PCs, and even I sometimes make little dinky blunders like that. So there you go. Okay, that did click in a bit nicer that time. Okay, right. We're good. All right. So what do you think, guys? I'll have a look at the full PC in a minute. Do you think we should put the back panel back on before starting up, or is that going to be bad juju? Is that bad juju if I put the back panel back on before booting the PC? Some people get real emotional about it. Oh, panel's here. We're doing it, guys. I'm that confident that it's going to be fine. But I am just going to give it a little woohoo. Okay. Nice, that actually went on really easily. Very nice. Okay. Ugh. So there's PC. Obviously, it's still got the protective film on it, so that's not going to look great from there. So maybe if we turn it that way around. Nice. So we do need to install Windows on this, and we'll do that in a second. And the drivers and everything. I think it looks tidy. You don't need a liquid cooler. So the CPU under here is a Ryzen 5 7500F. So there's absolutely no need for this liquid cooler. Stock cooler would even be fine. But the idea of this build is that it's very upgradable and platform friendly. So 360 cooler, this means any CPU you're going to fit in this socket, you're going to have a cooler that's ready and willing to do the job. Decent motherboard with 8 phases VRM. Going to be plenty for any Ryzen CPU that you put in it. We've got 32 gigs of DDR5 in there. We've got loads of M2 storage. We've got a nice sized case and a 750 watt power supply. So really good for upgradability over time, as well as being a great PC now. Time for Windows XP. Yeah. Oh God, those were the days. Right? Do you remember the green rolling hills background? I do. Yeah, see, Tanmay is... I disagree. I think, Brian, what you should do is just get a full kit now. Just buy it now before it goes up more. Get a DDR4 board, get a DDR4 RAM. Either get it used, or I know in the UK there's some silicon power kits. It's like 60 quid for 16 gigs of DDR4 3200. That'll sort you out. If you want 32 gigs, then get that. Otherwise, Tanmay's on the money because GPU is going to go up with the AI stuff, because I tell you, GPU is very good for AI, machine learning, and LLMs. I don't know how much fun you had with Windows XP at a VM. I guess it's just retro, isn't it? Right, let's get this PC hooked up. Okay. So that's flicked on. Plug in the Wi-Fi sticks as well. Yeah. Oh, I do like Windows 10, man. I wish it stuck around for a bit longer. Yeah, I know you can still get it, but the problem is at this point you're fighting an uphill battle, and they're going to stop making stuff for Windows 10. Although I don't know if they can stop apps working in Windows 10, because from what I know, the Windows 11 is based on the same architecture that Windows 10 is anyway, just with a new skin over it. So I don't know how much like on the back end is actually new. Okay, so display cable in, power cable in, flick to the one position. I've already updated the BIOS on this motherboard previously. All we need is our Windows 11 USB stick. I'll be using a Rufus stick, of course. Windows 11 Rufus. So I don't have to sign in with a Microsoft account. Thank God. And then I need a keyboard and mouse, which is here. Cool. So we'll give this a little fire up. Yeah, so Jack is completely correct. You need lots of VRAM for good LLM training. 16 gigs would be what I would go for at least if you're doing local stuff. Okay, so plugged. Great, let's turn it on. I like that the front panel's down at the bottom of the case here. It looks cool. All right. Okay, so first thing I've noticed is that our fans aren't spinning. So it was bad juju. I bet that's because the SATA plug has come out, isn't it? Let me just have a look. Yes, I think. Oh no. Ah, it's the other end of the SATA plug. Right. There will be life in these fans. There we go, baby. All right, listen, guys. One cable came out, all right? It doesn't mean that this build is cursed. It means that everything is fine, and I'm not wrong. Say Caleb says, what specs can you get for $800 gaming PC? Oh, probably Ryzen 7500F, 32 gigs DDR5 6000, cheapest B850 or B650 motherboard you can find, and an ARC B580 GPU. You might be able to get that for $800, maybe. So it looks pretty cool. See, I'll just back it up a little bit. It's all a bit, that's a little bit too bright. There we go. I had it on higher brightness because of all the black metal that we were looking at before, but yeah. Looking nice, looking nice. Right, Sir Caleb, I want you to get a pen and paper ready. Pause the stream and then come back when you've got your pen and paper ready, because I'm not going to say it again, baby boy. So what you want to look for is Ryzen 5 7500F from AliExpress. Buy a cheap AMD stock cooler from eBay or a Thermalright Assassin X from Amazon for the cooler. Motherboard, cheapest B650 or B850 you can find, because if you're budget constrained, that's all you're going to get. 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, ideally 6000 megahertz speed. And then for your storage, that's going to be up to you, whatever M2 SSD size you need. And then an Intel Arc B580 12 gigabyte graphics. And then at the very least a 500 watt 80 plus bronze rated power supply. It's tough when, you know, that's trying to get the max performance out of that money. You might not be able to get that for that money. In which case you might have to get something like the B570 or something else. Well, the thing is, Sir Caleb, you could just pause the stream, my friend, and you could just rewind it. I'll tell you what. Once I've got Windows installed, if you stick around, Sir Caleb, I will. I'll do a PC part picker list in a minute. Just let me get this PC Windows installed. So it'll be about 10 minutes, and we'll get to that. Okay, cool. So we're at the Windows installation screen. Let me shift this out of the way. And then okay. Hello, Windows, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Right, okay, PC36 is not hiring. We are not making enough money. One day, yes, not yet. Once the demand is outside of what I can deliver, then yes, they will be hiring at that point. Thanks, Sir Caleb. I will get back to you with that list in a minute. So I just need to get this job ticked off. Done. Yeah, the whole Windows account thing. This is why I use Rufus, mate, because it's absolute fast. You can still get past it without Rufus. You have to use Windows 11 Pro and then use the domain join method. Yeah, the thing is though, for most big OEM PC builders, they'll have their own custom ROMs that they use anyway, so it won't affect them. They've got a more advanced sort of setup. Okay, so we've only got one SSD, so good to go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the links thing. I think that might just be a YouTube thing. I don't know how to allow it. If it's a PC part picker list, if you just put the little code at the end of the URL, then I can paste it into. Yeah, I've looked into the sysprep thing to try and get a build ready, but it's the problem is I can do it and I can have it set up so that it works with, like, say, the NVIDIA app or something, but I'll have to have one ROM for the Radeon systems, one ROM for the Intel systems, one ROM for the NVIDIA systems. It all just gets a bit complicated, whereas this only takes about 10 minutes. I don't change very much. I leave it very vanilla. It's just easy. And the other thing is that the way that I set up the PCs for my customers, I don't get them to do the out-of-box experience at all. So I set them up with their own local user straight away. So when they get their PC, they plug it in, they turn it on, and it logs them straight in. No messing about with privacy questions and all that stuff. Oh, see, tell me that. See, that is interesting. That is interesting. I probably should look into it, to be honest. Yeah, the WinGet is. Yeah, the WinGet. So can WinGet do NVIDIA Radeon drivers, things like that? Gosh, it's taking Windows 11 takes so long to install, doesn't it, compared to Windows 10? Oh, nice. I thought WinGet you could only do certain apps with it. I'm obviously wrong about that. Interesting. Yeah, it probably is worth looking into. Because how long's this taking me? To be honest, once Windows itself actually is installed, it's probably only about 10 minutes per PC. It doesn't take a lot. But the thing that I would want is I don't want WinGet pulling NVIDIA drivers for a PC where I've got a Radeon graphics card in it, for example. Yeah. Oh no. So, Jack, I'm aware of what it is. I've just not looked into how to do it. Um, yeah, that's what all the builders use. I know it is because that's how they put all their wallpapers on, and they're all their own links and everything. Yeah, I do know. They even put their own splash screens on the BIOS sometimes. Yeah, so my issue with it is, let's say I spend 5 or 6 hours learning how to do this. If it only takes me 10 minutes per PC, I don't know what the payoff is going to be. That's the only other thing. And also, will I have to then recreate it every time that Windows gets a major update? Like, for example, 25H2, am I going to have to recompile it and all that stuff? I don't know. Yeah, so that's the problem. I don't think the payoff is going to be there for me personally. Although I do understand. I do understand the idea behind it. And if you're going to push out an image to all the computers in the network, for example, absolutely makes huge sense. But for me, I don't think. Yeah. Oh, I don't need help bypassing the online account. You can do that with Windows 10 Pro or Rufus if you're going to use Windows 10, Windows 11 Home. So you're fine, really. I mean, we could time it. We could see how long it takes me to install everything, but it's really not very long. Come on, Windows. Hurry up. We got things to do around here. So the thing is, Jack, yes, it does. But if you use Rufus, you can get around that. And also, if you use Windows 11 Pro, you can use the domain join method, and you can just install a local account that way. And I don't think they're going to take away the domain join method, because that seems like it would be really stupid for them to do that for their enterprise customers. So okay, looks like there's some life about to come up on screen now. Hope this is the thrilling live stream that you're all tuned in for. Oh my gosh, so bright, isn't it? We can install the driver later. That's okay. All right, so I don't have internet. So you won't have the I don't have internet button if you don't use Rufus or Windows 11 Pro now. Okay, so this guy is called Alex. I'm not going to dox him by putting his full name, don't worry. And the beauty of Rufus is you just put that and then boom, it's done. It skips all the privacy questions. Boom. Drawing flashbang. You'll get another flashbang in a minute probably when the Windows wallpaper comes up. Oh yeah, I've seen the Chris Titus video. It's one of those things where I don't know what benefit I'm going to gain by going into that much detail. I did do a test after using the Chris Titus tool that he's got to strip down a lot of the features of Windows. It definitely made the PC more enjoyable to use, but it didn't improve the gaming performance one bit. Not that that's the be-all and end-all. Just from a business perspective, it doesn't make much sense for me to do that for every PC for no real gain. Although I do use that tool and do a further debloat and some optimization for an extra fee sometimes. But yeah. There you go. That's your next your next flashbang. Okay. All right. So. And then I've got everything I need on a portable SSD, so we can just install it that way, which is far easier. Let's copy my benchmarks over whilst we install the chipset driver. So the normal order I do things is I install the chipset driver first, then the graphics, then the Wi-Fi. I don't know. I don't know. Watching graphs and installing things is boring. So I think we started at 20:04, so let's see if I can get this done by 14 minutes past 9. 14 minutes past 8, sorry. The PC clock is an hour out of date. Oh no! Go away, Edge. I do not want you anywhere near this. Oh, I could leave the user to do what they want with Edge or leave it. Right, okay. So chipset driver is done. Graphics next. That's extracting, so while we do that, I can't remember which graphics driver it is. Is it the 8852? We'll see. Just wait for the Wi-Fi driver to finish before. Yeah, go away, devil. Be gone, Microsoft Edge. Be gone. Have we got Wi-Fi? Yes. See, it was the 8852. See, oh, my memory is still all there. I'll do probably don't need a factory reset, but I'll do it anyway. Whilst that's going, we can do one of the tricks that I always like to do with the PCs when I set them up. Change the settings, turn off the fast startup, and then click save. Edge, be gone! Go on, Adrenaline Software. I need this to be set up within the next 6 minutes, so get a move on. Oh, we got some flicking action. That's good. That's good. That's real good. Hey, look, we might be ahead of time here. Beautiful. Look, what was that? 5 minutes. Yeah, so you're exactly right, Jack. So the reason I do that setting is so that it doesn't hold it in RAM when you turn it off. Yeah, I just don't. I like it. If I turn my computer off, I want my computer just to be off, right? I don't want it storing bits and bobs here and there. I want it off. So that's why I turn that setting off. I can't prove that it causes harm to leave it on, but I'd much prefer it this way. Okay, so we're good. We'll just need to test the temperatures quickly, just to make sure they're not going mental. So let's just restart it. After installing those drivers, we'll do some benches and we'll get this thing boxed up and ready to go. And then if my friend is still here in the chat that wanted his $800 build, we can go over that in a second. So Caleb, we'll do that. We'll just get the benchmark running and then I'll work out how to do a screen cap so I can show you a PC part picker list. So I haven't had mine turn on, but I've had it come out of sleep mode and out of hibernate mode for no reason before. There is a setting in the BIOS called AC back, which will turn your PC on if it detects power from the wall, but it would happen every time, so I don't know if it would be intermittent. Okay, so open up that, so OCCT. So a little rough and ready temperature test. And then we can get to Sir Caleb's build in a second. I don't want Gigabyte Control Center, go away. Why don't we also just get some Windows updates going? Oh, the resting temperature is quite good. Oh, I'll tell you what. Just scale it up so you can actually see it again. Display 150. There we go. Oh, really? Yeah, so I've got the app that I use that's called AirTech Switch Off. I didn't know there was a native Windows way to turn itself off after a certain amount of time. So we'll see. So our resting temperatures are good. CPU 37, GPU 42. Great. So I think the cooling system is fine. So that's the GPU stress. Let me just check the RAM's running at the right speed. 6,000. So I've already set the BIOS up before, so that's good. And then we will run some Prime 95. We'll leave that for 10 minutes or so. Make sure that it's all stable. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so now we need to get to Sir Caleb's build, don't we? So let's see. So I'll need to do window capture, won't I? So let's see. I'm trying to work it out. So Chrome, new incognito. Yes, there we go. Okay. So, but I want the US one, don't I? I don't want the UK one because it said that you are. Oh no, I don't want that. I just want the regular PC part. Yeah. Well, we'll find it in a minute. It's because I'm on a VPN. It always does this. Right. Okay. United States. Builder. Right. Okay. Let me check my stream. Yes, I am on the screen. Perfect. Right. So let's. Oh my God, it's in light mode. Okay. Is that this button? Yes, that's a lot better. Okay. Why would it default to light mode? That's crazy. Right, so Caleb, are you still here in the chat? If I'm still going to do your build anyway, because I've got to wait for this benchmark to complete. So let's see what we can get. So see if anywhere sells the 7500F. Yeah, they do, but that's too much. So I think on AliExpress you can get these for like 125 buckaroo. So we'll do that. We'll come to the cooler later. So B650, B850. Oh, that's a nice looking motherboard for the money. It's white, so you could get that one if you're not bothered. Pro RS, that's also white. I've used this B850 MRX, it's okay. Well, we'll just put this one in for now. How many phases is that? That looks like an alright little power delivery, doesn't it? Eight plus 2 plus 1. Hey, come on. That'll be fine. All right. And then memory, this is where you're going to get shafted. So I think CL30 is probably not going to happen at this budget level. Oh my God, 144 big ones, right? I've used this RAM before, it works all right. And then what graphics did we want? Let's see if we can get the ARC B580 in this price range. And you can get this quite cheap in the UK. Yeah, that's exactly the same one that I've used before. £215 in the UK, 235 buckaroo. Case-wise, oh, what should we get? I don't know what good cheap cases are like in the US. Let's just do ones that have only got high reviews. Oh, these are also old, man. Oh, that looks like it will do the job. Oh, it's going to be tight, but we could probably do it. So, power supply. Let's see if we get you a 650. Oh, God. You know that's going to be bad. Montec? Well, they're usually reliable. Let's get that ASRock Challenger. Okay. Oh, we are tight. We are tight. I know a lot of these budget builds, people put like a 500 gig SSD. Like, guys, do you know how big games are now, right? Just looking for one that I recognise. P41, that'll be all right, won't it? 786. Oh, baby, we're cooking here. Okay, and then we just need. I can't see the chat at the moment, so if anyone's chatting, I will get back to you in a minute. And then you could get. You get the RGB version. I'll just put this here as a placeholder. There you go. Look, 804 bucko. So let me. I'll move myself over. Oh no, so I've moved the wrong thing now. Let me move myself over yonder. Okay, so I mean, if you're not too worried about having a white motherboard in a black case, this would be a great way to go. It doesn't have Wi-Fi, so that's one thing to consider. You need to maybe get a Wi-Fi board. So what, we were 804. I think you could probably stretch a little bit for a different board. So let's just have a look. B650 MPG Lightning, that'll be all right. That one's got Wi-Fi. It's only got 2 DIMM slots, but to be honest, on AMD, you don't really want to use more than 2 DIMM slots anyway. If anything, 2 DIMM slots will probably make the RAM more stable. So I'll go for this one. There you go. So 829, but we did have that white motherboard, which was a bit cheaper. You could get an even cheaper cooler if you really needed to. You could get an even cheaper case if you wanted to. So you've got room there. I think this is a very US guys have got some decent pricing compared to UK. Yeah, I think. Is it the most beautiful case I've ever seen? No. Does it look decent? Yeah. This would be a really good way to go for your first $800 PC. Ah, so Caleb is just in time. All right, so let me zoom in a little bit and we can go through it. Hopefully that's legible. So Caleb, we got the Ryzen 5 7500. So this here, you come back and pause the stream to find this. Note down this website here with the little code at the end, the PPHGHK. So you can just type this in and it'll come up. Ryzen 5 7500, by far the best value CPU at the moment. You're getting great performance, AM5 platform, done. Thermalright Assassin X120. You can get the RGB version for the same price as well, but I just put the black one there as a placeholder. It's going to be fab. Even for like a 7800 X3D. Great. So you could even upgrade your CPU without changing your cooler. Motherboard. B850MX Wi-Fi. This will be fine. I've used it. It's decent. It's got 8-phase VRM. It's got 2 DIMM slots, but you don't need more than that really. It's kind of basic, but it gets the job done. And then for RAM, your RAM is really expensive at the moment, but this is a good kit. Crucial Pro overclocking 6000 CL36. You could, if you wanted to put some time in to try and tune it, you could probably get this down to CL30 if you really wanted to. I just seen there that it says available soon at Amazon, so you either have to wait for it or pay a bit more money. But yeah, and then we just got Platinum P41. I think this SSD is really nice. I'm pretty sure this has a DRAM cache actually. So I think that's quite a good little price on that actually. And then graphics, cheapest Arc B580 that's got 2 fans. So this Acer Nitro, I've used this exact one, works great. I just chose a sort of a smart looking case. I thought that looked pretty decent. Okinos Cypress 3. But there are cheaper cases if you need to save a bit more money. and then 650 watt bronze power supply, ASRock Challenger, it'll be fine. You'll have no issues with it. And with that, you'll be gaming at high 1080p or like medium 1440p. It'll be fine, particularly if you use upscaling. So it's 829, but we did say that there are some cheaper motherboards with B650 or B850 chipset that you could get. You could get a different case that's slightly cheaper as well if you really needed to. So there are some ways to save that extra bit, but it's worth getting this extra $30 if you can afford it. Oh, I see. So these are excluding tax. So the difficulty I have with the American listeners is I don't know whether when they say I've got $800 to spend, that means including tax or not. Because some states don't have tax, do they? So I think usually people quote without tax because it's variable. So I've got CJ in the chat saying he's getting black screen. So go to my channel, CJ, and look for my DDU guide. You want to follow that guide. That might help with your black screen issue. If it doesn't, I would try a different display cable, because sometimes the display cable can cause problems as well with black screen. So yeah. So currently on the website, let me get that back up for everybody. So if you go to PC Part Picker, and then you just go, so when you load it up, you'll have the pcpartpicker.com/list, and then you just put in this extra little bit at the end. In fact, I might just be able to copy it to the chat. See if it will let me. Imagine if I get banned from my own chat for posting links. Oh no, there you go, it works. Yeah, we don't know, Sir Caleb, if you mean including tax or not. I've assumed not, because I don't know what state you live in. Because not all of them have sales tax, and it's variable, isn't it, depending where you go. I've put the link in the chat for you, so you don't have to go looking for it. All right, guys. So should we see how we're doing on our temperature test? Okay. Oh, tasty. So we've loaded up the CPU and the RAM, 67 degrees, 67. Guys, this is good to ship. This is good to ship. Right. So let's just quickly sync the time up properly. A little check for updates, but we won't actually let all the updates go through. There's no point, but we'll just get them set up so that when the customer does connect to the internet, they can finish. Oh, so with tax, okay. So with tax, let's see what we can do. That's tougher, isn't it? It depends what. Yeah, it does. Depends what your tax is, I suppose, doesn't it? So should we try? Yeah, so Jack, honestly, for temperatures, CPU under 80 is fine. Even 85 is technically fine. Graphics under 80 is fine. It will be a bit higher with a hotspot, but that's fine. But core temperature, VRAM under 80, that's what you want. And then your CPU under 80 is ideal. But with a lot of Ryzens, if you turn the PBO on, it will just keep boosting until it hits like 86 degrees anyway. So it's not so much of a concern. I'll just go based on the performance and the noise. All right, so should we try a revised spec then? So this is already quite a lean spec. So this is going to be quite difficult to... It's going to be difficult to cut this down further without sacrificing something. So I would say Sir Caleb, that this, I would, if you can save up for this, this is going to be a far better platform for you to build on over time and upgrade. But if you are very strict on the budget, then you're very strict on the budget. What are you going to do? Let's have a look and see what else we can do for you. How much is a 50? Oh wow, the 50. Yo, that's so expensive. They're so much cheaper here. What? Yeah, the problem is with this CPU is you're probably going to bottleneck a little bit on your CPU compared to the graphic. It's difficult, especially in modern games. 1200. Oh, that's too much, isn't it? What's going on? Yeah, you're in a bit of a pickle here, aren't you? So, I'm in a bit of a bind here about what to do for you, because ideally you get this because you'll have the PCIe Gen 4 for the better performance. We could use the stock cooler and then just get the real most basic B550 available. Yeah, that'll do. And then there you go, that'll be all right. All right, so I think you'll use the stock cooler that comes with the CPU. I mean, this would be the next one down, I guess. Most of it's the same. The difference is the CPU, we have to go back to AM4 platform, Ryzen 5 5600, B550 motherboard, 16 gigs of RAM. You could get 32 gigabytes just if you've got a bit more money. I think with the sales tax, you'll probably get about 800 on that. So this would be the next one down if you're very strict on your budget. But that extra $130 is going to be a strong recommendation to get the upgrade. Right, let me show everybody on screen. So, I've ummed and ahed, Sir Caleb, about what to do for you. CPU wise, we've had to go back to AM4. Ryzen 5 5600. We'll use the included stock cooler that comes in the box. We'll get the cheapest B550 we could find that's got Wi-Fi included. And then 16 gigabytes of DDR4. This is 3600, but 3200 will also be fine. And then the rest is the same as the previous build. So this will do the job. This will get you some 1080p, and probably a bit of 1440 as well, with some upscaling. But the extra 130 on the previous build, it's buying you a lot of upgradability. It's buying you a lot of extra breathing room for the future. So it's up to you what you want to do with your money. But if you've got that ability to save up a little bit of extra money, then I would certainly do it. Oh, I love these guys getting on well in the chat. What a couple of these. To be honest, Caleb, if you follow Tanmei's advice, you'll probably get some good advice on your PC build anyway, regardless. But this is what I would go for if you really have to stick to that budget. If not, then go back to the previous one with the 7500F if you can stretch a little bit more money. That's it. Okay, so back to our PC. This is good to shut down and send off to the customer now, I think. So next we'll have to package up this PC ready to ship to the customer. Yeah, well, don't worry about that, Jack. To be honest, that's the hardest thing about PC building. It's not actually physically putting it together. It's knowing what's going to work for the customer. Like, what can I recommend to the customer to know that they're going to get a good experience? And you'll have your area of expertise as well. So, you know, everyone has their own bit to add, don't they? So shut this down. Let's get some Instapack foam so that we can package this up, safely ship it to the customer, and everyone can have a happy evening. I've got after this one more PC to take apart very quickly, and then we'll be able to move on. And if anyone's wondering, I have already set up the BIOS on this motherboard already, so that's why I haven't been in to do anything. The Expo is already enabled, etc., and the fan curves are already done. I did it on a previous build on this motherboard, so that's, in case you're wondering, it is already done. I'll just wait for this to shut down. Whoops, I'll kick the camera, that helps, doesn't it? I'll be back in one mo. I've just got to go and get the Instapack foam. Okay. Looks like PC is now off. That's good. All right, so we're gonna package this up now using the internal expanding foam so that it reaches the customer in good condition without snapping up the GPU. Okay. Okay. All right, so we've got Instapack foam here. Which we'll see in a moment. It's like expanding foam to hold, it's basically just, in this build, it will just be for the graphics card to hold in place. Sort of molds around the stuff inside. To be honest, this graphics card is so light that it probably doesn't even need this, but I'm like a cautious Carol when it comes to shipping because I've been burnt a lot of times with damaged stuff in shipping. So there we go, expanding foam. There we go. So that's going to hold that graphics card rock solid in the middle so it doesn't slide up and down in transit. Then we can just put the glass back on. and then you're good to go. So there we go. So when the customer gets it, that's what they'll see. But it's just to protect the graphics card on the way. Right, we'll take this away. We'll package that up. I'll probably do the rest of the packaging off stream. And then we've just got one more PC to take apart, and then we're going to call it a night in probably about half an hour. Okay. Okay, so that's the Corsair 2500X case. It's going to have to take some of the componentry out of it, that's all. Karsner says, should I upgrade my GTX 1650 Super first or i3 10100F? Probably the graphics, I would say. Although you're still going to get a bit held back with your CPU, whatever you upgrade to, so it's difficult. All right then. All right, guys. I think actually I'm going to take this PC apart off stream. So another couple of minutes. Any questions anyone's got in the chat, let me know, and then I'm going to head off after that. But I think, you know, with that upgrade question, 1650 Super or 10100F, it's going to depend on the games that you're playing. If you're playing 1080p, low settings, then you might want to upgrade the CPU first. If you're playing more story games and you're just aiming for 60 FPS, then maybe the graphics card. So yeah, does depend on your usage. All right, any final questions in the chat before we wind down for the evening? All right, team. Right, I am going to sign off for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm sure we'll do another one again at some points when I've got some more jobs to do. All right, amazing. Great to see you all. Have a great evening. I'm going to end it there. Bye-bye.